So in this video, you're about to watch an interview that I did with an agent who was stuck in the traditional MLM insurance scam. He wanted to share his story with you guys, and I think it's really important. He was the guy at the top of the leaderboards submitting $20,000, $30,000 worth of AP. He was told to recruit. He was in that typical MLM insurance scam, and he comes on here and is completely and brutally honest about how he went into credit card debt, how after doing this business for 12 months, checked his taxes and lost $7,000, how he could barely, keep his rent payments and was about to fail out of this business. And he wants to share with you the side of the business that nobody is willing to share. Nobody is willing to brutally share what the truth about this industry. We're on a mission to change this business. I was able to help bring him into my company, and he's made more money than he ever has. He's also going to share with you how he sold 15 policies in the last 5 days with us and has actually deposited more in his bank account in 5 days than he ever has in this industry. This is his story. I just want to share with you that the MLM industry or the insurance industry is broken, and we're in a mission to change this. And here is Tyler. I love this kid. I'm so passionate. He is like the perfect guy for this story. He is wanting to serve. He wants to help people, and he thought this industry was going to do that for him. He was fed the lies. He was fed the BS. He was told to buy more leads. He was told to go out there and figure out or recruit people, and he didn't want to do any of that. He just wanted to help people and make money. And he sacrificed 12 months of his life losing money and going into credit card debt. And he wants to share with you his story because he wants to help you, and ultimately we want to help you. So this is Tyler, awesome heart, awesome guy. This is the side of the business that no one's willing to share. Hope you enjoy. Love to hopefully help you guys if you need anything. Cheers. So thanks for joining us, Tyler. I just want you to just first off, I guess, introduce yourself, where you are, how long you've been in the industry, and kind of what you're seeing now in the industry. Just give a little intro for everyone here.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for having me, Peter. We've been trying to do this for the last couple weeks, so it's cool we got it going. Yeah, to keep it short and sweet, I started. Am I allowed to say where we were at before?
Yeah, you can say who you're with. That's fine.
Okay, I was at. Some people know what that is basically, and had a lot of good months there. I wouldn't say good, but like had a lot of months where I was doing all right, and then some months where I really struggled. And so I started back there. It was May of 2022, so a little over a year ago to now. So I've only been doing life insurance for about a little over a year. I didn't do so hot over it. I was actually to keep the story here short, I was gonna give up. I was gonna move on, try to find out something else to do. I was sick of losing money, basically. I was probably selling like maybe 4 to 5 policies a week. On like a good week or whatever, and just like struggling to stay alive, getting some chargebacks. And I wasn't really taking it as seriously as I should have, though, but lead flow was really the big problem and a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, I reached out to Peter here as like a last ditch effort, and ended up coming and joining his team over here a couple months ago. And a whole different environment. But yeah, I don't know what you really want me to touch on.
Yeah, I just want to ask, I guess, in your experience there at like where you previously were, the MLM model, like what was the final like straw for you to eventually want to transition and finally like, because our model is so different and you've kind of seen how it's not as sexy, but like what was like the final straw for you? Like, damn, I want to look for something different. Just think about like someone who's in your position right now who might be stuck, and you're probably being talked about like keep going, don't quit, and they ultimately make you feel bad for leaving, even though the environment and situation is actually very, very bad for the individual. Like, talk about like even some of the the darkest times, how you got through them. Like, you can be really real, man. Like, what was that like for you? And eventually, what was that final straw for you?
Yeah, so I ended up getting into credit card debt, and like I've never had credit card debt. I was paying people to generate me Facebook leads and this and that, and I filed my taxes from last year for 2022, and with all my write-offs and everything, I was literally negative, like I think it was like $7,000 at least.
Yeah.
Negative. So like that to me like blew my mind. I knew I was like I had car payments, my rent and stuff, but quite a bit of bills I had coming in. But with all my bills and everything, and just really what like my lead spend was, and like all my write-offs I had, I was net like negative a bunch last year. And I reached out to some people. Not only did I see everyone at on my like big team, all the like OG agents who I thought were crushing it were all quitting.
Yeah.
Like all of them did, except maybe like one. And so I was like, well, that's not good. Some of them are staying in the industry, but some of them are going to other IMOs and stuff. And then the few I'd reach out to all had different reasons, kind of, but it was all generally the same idea. They weren't making any money, or they were struggling. And I thought they were submitting like 20K or more each month in AP, and they were losing money too. And I was over there submitting maybe not even 10K in a month or whatever. Less than that, probably somewhere right around there would be my best month maybe. But yeah, dude, I was struggling. I went super negative. There were some months like I didn't even know how to pay my rent. Like I, had to, it was terrible. Like, honestly, probably the most stressful, like 6 months of my entire life was trying to keep listening to like my upline and other people like, oh, you're fine. Just like keep trying. It's all going to work out. And like, I was getting better at sales, but not to the point where I could like do it. Like, I don't know. It just was never working for me and being profitable. So it was like I literally like was getting gray hairs, I think, from trying to stay there and like anxiety problems. I've never been an anxious guy, but like it was like ruining my life. And so I was like, I need to get out of this. Like, I don't even care what I go do. Like, I'll go be a server at a restaurant again for a little bit while I figure out what I want to do. I used to sell cars and stuff, so I didn't want to go do that again. But yeah, and that's when I hit you up. I was like in desperation.
Well, I just I appreciate you sharing that, guys. This interview is for me and Tyler to share his story, but ultimately to help you. And I think, Tyler, just an example of like, dude, there's a lot of people in your situation. You've probably seen it now after you had some success with us, people reaching out. There's a side of the industry that no one's willing to share, and just greatly appreciate, man, and that you are willing to be, humble and share with you the path of darkness. And a lot of people are in right now that just need to raise their hand, like, okay, there's like a blinder. So ultimately, I want to share with you how you went from that position, man. You're losing money. You were there for almost a year, losing money, and then this week, you can be humble. You can share your story, because like we want to share that there's life in this industry. You literally plugged into our system. Like you trained week in, week after wet, like, and then you literally just sold 15 policies this week. And our model is not here to submit AP. It's here to pay people. And I think this week you're going to make more that you've ever made profit in just 1 week after our situation. But kind of share with you, like, what was the difference, man? Like, what did you do different? Give an agent like something that helped you become successful. What did you realize you needed to do to become successful? And for all those agents out there, you're helping them. So just understand, like, what was some of those key pieces that you just had to implement to become successful in this industry? Because, dude, when I met you, I knew you had what it took. You were just in the wrong vehicle. I knew that you'd be successful. Before speaking to Tyler ever, I would just text my business partner, Mike. I'm like, dude, this kid's gonna crush it. He's just in the wrong spot. And literally, we manifest that. So just share with the people like what you did, and ultimately like the realization. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a few things. I didn't write anything down, so I'm just going off the top of my head. But number one, when I first came over with you guys, you have a minimum standard here of how many dials we're going to make each day. And I kind of used to do that but like when there's really no accountability there except yourself, it is hard to, like, no matter how motivated and disciplined you think you are, it's hard to hold yourself accountable when there's like no one really telling you what to do. You don't have a set schedule. Like, you're kind of just on your own. So I think for me, plugging into somewhere where like someone's challenging me to like make these many dials, like we're going to be in our morning meetings. For me, it's 7 a.m. every morning. I'm meeting with you. For you, it's 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we're on there every single day training. I haven't missed a meeting yet since we've been here. So that's just like the accountability factor. Wanting to hit the minimum dials for the day is really, like you always say, is the only thing we can actually control as an agent, is how many dials you're going to make a day and how many leads do you got to call. Everything past that just comes down to how well you are on the phone, like with your training and stuff, which is really what, so those two things right there, like my activity increased a lot coming over here with you, and the training, obviously the one-on-one training with you every day, like I feel like an assassin on the phone now in a good way. We're just helping people. We're not like, we're putting them in the best position possible. And like last week I replaced probably like 6 or 7 policies for people who were lied to by their last agent. They were in a worse position. Some of them had IUL. That lady had that IUL. She didn't even know. She thought she had a whole life policy, like all this weird stuff goes on. We just see agents putting these people in like worse positions, and we kind of can help them and be transparent and honest with them, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah.
In regards to like, your previous experience where everyone's like, oh, we're going to help families. Like the other IMOs, everyone says that they're going to help families. How would you compare that experience of helping families versus helping families, our conviction, what we do here, and ultimately, like, how does it make you feel? Like, is it like more rewarding? Like, I think people need to understand how amazing this business can be when you're doing it the right way. Would you say like you had that same conviction, passion, and love for the business when you were scrambling around at the other IMO, or like has that also shifted as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like now I'm also like a health expert thanks to you. Like I like my medical underwriting to send people to companies was trash. And I thought I don't know. I thought I knew what I was doing, but here now you've helped me learn all these different medications and health problems, and like just off the top of my head I know like which companies are going to approve them or decline them, and then like they say one medication and we're like, do you have this or that? And they're like, oh, I don't even know. And then they end up being like, yeah, actually, I do have that health condition. Like we know more about some of their health now than they do, which is comical, but it is a way we're actually able to really help them. And it kind of like blows their mind, it seems like, on the phone when we know so much about their health and stuff. And then we really come from a place where we're trying to serve them with like certain tracks and word like phrases we use, but ultimately we do want to serve them. So it comes across genuine. Whereas before, like I wanted to help people, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying to help people, trying to get them in a good position, but like the confidence behind it wasn't there. So I probably never came across to these people like I was actually trying to help them. Whereas now I feel like we really are making a big difference, and it's cool. So
Do you feel like since you're not worrying about like the lead costs, like system, like that, like your focus is literally on picking up the phone and like actually serving and helping people. I'm sure that's very liberating for people. What are like three things that you think, not knowing what you know now, I just want to love to see like for someone who might be in the traditional model that they need to have, whether they're successful there or if they want to go find another place, what are like the things that you're like, oh snap, this is why I was able to sell 15 policies last week. This is why I'm able to sell. Like you probably have confidence you're going to sell another 10, 12 this week, right? Like it's because these were the three things that agents have right now that you didn't, I guess you didn't have, but like if you had to jump in this business now, you're like, damn, this is why I'm successful. Like, what are the three things that you think are required for an agent to become successful with their current IMO? What would you say they are for someone?
yeah, ultimately, like if someone is going to stay at their current IMO, would be hold yourself accountable to a schedule. You have to like get up at the same time every day, get on the phones at the same time. Our goal every day is 250 dials minimum or 4 to 5 hours of talk time. We track all that. And then like ideally 5 presentations. That's going to be like the metrics you want to hold yourself to. If you don't have metrics like that, like shooting for 5 to 6 presentations a day, you're probably going to close anywhere from 2 to 4 of them. And then in the certain amount of dials, that's the number one key. The second thing would be having enough lead flow. Because if you're super stressed, and what we've learned here, like you guys give me so many leads, I literally can't even talk to even, feels like 20% of them I can barely even try to call in a day because I have so many. So there's no stress in my mind of like, oh my gosh, I have to close this person. And then you come off needy, you come off salesy, you don't come off like you're trying to help them. And you have like that weird sales breath that they're not even going to want to talk to you. But when you have like an overwhelming amount of leads coming in, you don't have that scarcity mindset. You're going to be calling them way more laid back, way more chill, using the right tone, sounding like, hey, if they're rude to you, like we don't help people here who are rude to us. Like, hey, if you're going to be rude, like have a nice day. We're going to call someone who actually wants our help. And that's the huge difference. I used to stay on the phone when I had like way worse lead flow. I'd stay on the phone with people who were just total like a-holes and talking down to you the whole time. And that degrades you over time. And then you start thinking it gets in your head when you're like staying on the phone with people like that, trying to close them. And it's like, why? But there's a lot of really good clients out there. And the more leads you have, you're going to find all the good people. And so that'd be number 2. So number 1 was like, hold yourself to a schedule, put in the freaking work. If you're not putting in the work, you're not going to get any results. And then number 2 is make sure you're getting enough leads. There's all a bunch of different ways, and And then number 3 would be like the daily training or have a mentor. Like if your upline sucks, you're probably going to suck. I mean, there's a lot of good YouTube channels like yours and maybe a few other ones out there that are like, they're honest and kind of give you the nitty gritty details. But if you don't have a mentor who can like listen to your calls, train you every day, you know, constructive criticism, they're not beating you down. They're telling you what you could do better, but they're not like putting you down. They're like trying to build you up. Yeah. And if you don't have someone like that speaking into you, it will be really hard, especially as a new agent, almost impossible to ever be like really good. And the only way you are going to get really good is by putting in the reps. Like you always say, dialing. I've gotten so much better. And like, I've only been with you guys like a month and a half or something. And I'm already writing more in a week than I used to do in a whole month. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man, I think you're at like 32 policies in regards to like just overall the constant work. So, I mean, you've honestly earned it all. Do you actually feel like, you know, generally you can answer this honest or not, do you just like feel like it's different now, like that you're actually helping people? And I think this life, I mean, for us, we want to serve others. We want to just literally be the hands and feet of our bigger purpose that we know what we're talking about. But like, do you actually feel like you're actually helping people and like putting people in a good position? I think that's ultimately what everyone wants. But the models that are out there just provide you to just put you in such a hole where you're in like this scarcity mindset where there's no training. They're lacking those 3 pieces, and you're like, dude, this is the worst thing ever. But like, do you like actually feel like this? I knew that you're an agent that just should be in this industry, and I feel like there's thing about all those agents that are really, really good that just go into the wrong boat and then they leave. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, dude, they could have been serving a lot of people. Do you think like the life insurance industry is like one of the best ways for you to like serve people, help people? And do you actually feel like you're in a position where you could actually earn income that you've been trying to actually get to in the past years of your life here in the industry?
Yeah, definitely. That was a lot to think about, but yeah, so 100%, I feel like, I mean, trying to think about what you said, if agents do get in the wrong boat. Yeah. Dude, like, it always cracked me up, and like, I kind of thought like whatever about it, but like over at my old IMO, they're like, you should be recruiting from day one. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just recruit, get other people. And like, but then they would like say, we'll train them. And then, you know, so don't worry about training them, like have your upline kind of train the people you're recruiting until you know what you're doing. And so like I was trying to recruit people, but always in my head, I'm like, that's so stupid. Like if I barely know what I'm doing, I don't want to recruit people. And like, dude, I was like always in a constant internal battle over there, like one thing or another. It was something this or that, and then I'd kind of figure something out and something else would be struggling to the point where it was like killing me, dude. And I feel like the people who are still sticking in it, who are in the position I was in, where they're like barely treading, keeping their head above water, they're just delusional. Like they just need to accept reality. Like they're either should get a different job where they're actually going to make money, go work at stinking McDonald's. You'll probably make more than you will in an MLM model. I know I literally lost money. I went negative, like upwards money, and I was selling like 10K a month or whatever. And like the people, like I've had people reach out to me from my old like team and stuff. And some of them like, so what are you like making profit each month? And they're like, oh, you know, like breaking even. And I'm like, then why are you still there? You've been doing that a year. And they're like, oh, well, things are going to get better. And, you know, I just need to dial more and like say all this shit. And I'm like, just accept it. Like it took me a while to accept it. Like you're either going to completely like almost become homeless over there, or you really have to start working way harder. And some people make it work. But yeah, I've been like, you could ask my whole family, my girlfriend, you could ask everybody. I'm like 100 times happier person now over here working with you and actually making money, profiting, having fulfillment, excited to work each day. Love our team.
It's scary, man. I feel bad for those people, man. And ultimately, this is what we're on a mission for. You're part of this big mission of changing this industry. But we'll end with this. Like, what are like actual practical skills that you've learned in telesales that could be helpful for someone? Like, what, you didn't just sell 15 policies. I mean, because the leads were exceptional. You have a skill. Like, what are some things in your selling process that could be helpful for someone? Is it like, you know, learning the intro? Like, what do you think helps you sell? Like, that could help someone else sell?
A couple things took me to the next level in my sales, really just in the last few weeks, was
Yeah.
training with you. Obviously, you're the one training me all this stuff, but got to have a good intro.
Mhm.
Me and Peter are both good at somehow sounding interesting to these people, to where they stay on the phone. They'll answer, be like, hello, like pissed off that we're just calling them, and we'll like act all confused and like say something weird, and then they like stay on the phone with us, and like we're all day like laughing, and like we have a bunch of fun. But sometimes we say ridiculous stuff or send them ridiculous text messages just to get these people interested, and then ultimately we end up helping them and they love us, which is fun. So I guess coming from like, I've been telling myself lately, I want to be like the most charismatic, like witty, like fun to talk to guy on the phone that these people like, that has ever called these people before, to where they get on the phone, they're like, I really don't even know who that guy just was, but he just got me a policy, and like that guy was awesome. Like, you don't gotta just like try to be a comedian or anything, but like if you just sound like the same monotone like loser calling them, they're gonna hang up on you. And your tonality is key. You were saying a lot when I started is like, in a lot of calls I'll talk super slow in the beginning, and like they're like they're like listening to the phone like, what is he saying, like, but like if you answer the phone, you're talking really fast, they're just going to hang up on you because it sounds like you're trying to get your few sentences out before you lose them or whatever. But if you answer and you're talking all chill and like saying whatever you're saying, they're like, well, this guy doesn't sound like people hang up on him. He doesn't sound like he's like rushing to get his words out. So like figuring out what works for you yourself as the agent for your intro is key. Like you got to keep them on the phone or you're never going to sell them. The next best, so that's the most thing to focus on probably at first. And then once you can keep them on the phone, you got to have good medical underwriting, all that stuff, like going through your script. Make sure you're sending them to the right company where they're not going to get declined. But then ultimately, what you've helped me focus on and where I'm closing more deals now is like, I got to the point where like my intro was great. I kept like everyone on the phone unless they were like in the supermarket or something, or they just hung up on me because they truly weren't interested or whatever. But like I could get so many people up to the presentations, and I was presenting, and then a lot of them were just like, I want to think about it. I want to talk to my wife. I want to all this stuff. And then you helped me focus on getting them across the finish line and like holding their hand, as we call it. There's a bunch of different situations of like what they want to do, but like, I don't know if you want us to give out all your secrets, but
And then you can, yeah, just talk to them like if someone's like, I don't know, I gotta think about it. Like what is the process? Like how do you think through? How do you go through that?
Yeah, obviously it's different for every person. It could be like stern Mr. Bob, who's like straight to the point, or it could be like the sweet old lady who's like really kind. And so you got to approach them differently, but really just like letting them know you're here for them. We're always dropping like overwhelmingly now. I'm telling these people, I'm going to be here for you for life. I'm going to be here for you for your family. You start getting in their head to where they're like, oh my gosh, this guy hasn't even sold me anything. He's telling me he's going to be here for my family. And they're like, what is going on? But like, they like it like subconsciously. Right. And then ultimately, Mr. Peter, like, obviously you need to think about it. Like, I don't know what your objection was, but we try to kind of downsell them to something that's for sure comfortable and affordable for them. And then we tell them, we're going to make sure we can get you approved here. Once we confirm it is comfortable and affordable for them, we're going to set it up for a date that makes sense for you, for everything to kind of kick in and for your coverage to, go into effect. And like, we just walk them through it really calmly and I've had a bunch of people now who are like, I want to think about it. We just take a step back. You talk really calm, like not salesy at all. Yeah. So here, this sounds really important to you. And like, you use all their words against them. Everything they've said in the call, you don't want your daughter this, you don't want this. You've been looking for a year now. You just kind of say back everything really calmly. And then in my head, I like picture me holding their hand almost. And I'm like, and then you just like walking them to, and then you say, we're going to try to get you approved for the 10,000. It's this much when they originally wanted the 15. So to them, it seems like it's going to be more affordable. And then if they ever want to add on some more, I'm going to be here for you and your family. Just give me a call back and we can do that. Does that sound fair? And then they're like, 75% of the time they're like, yeah, when you say it that way, that does sound fair. And then like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get you approved. And you just go right into the application. Is this your email? Do you have a middle initial? Pull it up, try to get them done. But yeah, those two things, the intro was, is crucial, the right tonality. If, have fun with it, say funny stuff sometimes, or like, you don't want to be too much of a weirdo, but it seems to work for me. So We say goofy stuff, and these people end up having fun talking to us, and like we're still keeping it professional though and helping them. But yeah, just trying to be good people, I guess.
Yeah, and ultimately when you get them across, like think about how many people like, I don't know, and then like a day later after we send them a text like congratulations, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Tyler, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately still the agent, but sweet, man. Well, Tyler, I don't know if you have anything to add. I just want to keep it short, but guys, I just want to share with you his perspective. Ultimately, like Tyler, you're going to be someone where people are going to reach out to in a few months and years. I'm like, dude, man, like you helped me take the lead to understand what's possible. And ultimately, you're going to be a leader inside of our business here. And we're all on a mission here. Tyler's part of my YouTube channel now. He's part of all the growth that we have. You're part of, every follower, everything out there moving forward is because you're building something that's literally on a mission to change or help those people who are $8,000 in debt this month from the traditional model. So I appreciate you coming on here, man, just being a living testimony of like what's possible and ultimately like how to serve and help people. So if people want to reach out to you, like what's the best way that they can, DM you or learn about you? You also have a on the sign you have a little like Christian clothing company. If you guys happen to be a believer or anything like that, go check out his merchandise. He's just an awesome dude, and I appreciate everything you've done, man. You're going to continue to lead and serve. So how can they find you?
My Instagram, you could put it on the screen or something here probably, but he's always posting me on his story too. If you follow Peter, you can. I've had a lot of people message me in the last 2 weeks. It's kind of crazy, but should I give him my phone number or what? I don't really care.
Just give him your Insta. You might get too many calls, man.
Yeah. Put my Instagram on the screen or something with your magic editing here.
Okay. It'll be like Tyler Hartman.
It's Tyler _ I might change it though, but it's Tyler _ R32 _. I'm a car guy, but
yeah. I'll put it in the description too. But thanks for joining us, Tyler. In order to DM you have to buy a shirt. So just be careful, be mindful. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, bro. We'll see you on Monday. And if y'all need help, reach out to Tyler. We got your back. See you guys. Cool.
Thank you.